Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, in this Cash Control 360 explainer, we're diving headfirst into Emergency Fund 101. Now, before we jump right into the thick of it, just a quick reminder, this is strictly educational content, right? Not financial advice. Okay, so today we're tackling something that, let's be honest, causes a ton of anxiety for so many of us. But don't worry, we're going to do it completely stress-free. Let's get into it. Picture this. It's a random Tuesday. You're just going about your day, minding your own business. And suddenly, your phone buzzes. It's a text from the mechanic. $612. Oh, and they need it today. Seriously, we've all felt that exact visceral drop in our stomachs, haven't we? It's just this incredibly universal financial scare that hits completely out of nowhere. So panic mode sets in. You immediately open up your bank app to check your balance, and yep, there it is. $40 with 9 whole days left until payday. Ouch. But hey, I want to pause right here for a second and say something absolutely crucial. This exact moment, the one that breaks people's budgets, it is not because you are bad with money. So if you've ever been in this situation, just let go of that shame right now. All it really means is that you just have zero buffer between a normal, boring week and a really bad one.
Section 1. The Zero Buffer Trap. How one bad week breaks the budget. So when you're living without any sort of financial cushion, a totally normal life event triggers the real villain of our explainer, the debt cycle lobe. Here's how it plays out. An unexpected emergency hits, say a busted alternator, a medical bill, maybe a broken fridge. Because there's no cash buffer sitting there, boom, it goes straight onto a credit card. Now, you aren't just paying for the emergency itself, you're getting hit with interest on top of it. By the time your next paycheck finally rolls around, you're already behind before the money even hits your checking account. That's the cycle. It completely traps you, and it just repeats over and over again, simply because that initial buffer wasn't there to catch the fall.
Section 2. The $1,000 target. Breaking the cycle. Okay, so the standard financial advice you hear literally everywhere is to save 3 to 6 months of living expenses. I mean, do the math. That's often like $15,000 or more. And let's be real, that number is massively intimidating. For most people, it literally stops them before they even start saving. So let's just forget about that for now. Scratch that whole idea. Our target? It's simply the first $1,000. Why that specific amount? Because $1,000 is exactly the amount needed to absolutely shatter that debt cycle we just talked about. It's enough to cover the vast majority of those annoying, common emergencies, so you don't have to reach for a credit card in a panic. Section 3. Build it. 3 steps. How to save without stress. All right, step 1, open a separate account. Today, like right now. Look, your regular checking account is just one quick tap away, right? It's super tempting. What you actually need is a totally separate savings account, ideally at a completely different bank than the one you're checking every single day. Because here's the thing, if your savings are just a tap away, you're gonna tap it. It's human nature. But if you have to log into a completely different app, initiate a transfer, and then actually wait a full business day to get your hands on the cash, well, that extra friction is a brilliant psychological life hack. Out of sight literally means out of reach for impulse spending. It forces you to think twice. Moving on to step 2, and this is all about completely removing willpower from the equation. Automate a small, honestly kind of boring amount. Think $25 a week, that's $100 a month. Do you know what that adds up to over a year? $1,300. And the best part? It happens entirely automatically without you ever having to sit down and make a decision about it. You really don't need to be shifting big, scary chunks of money around to make progress. You just need a small number that moves over whether you remember it or not. Set it and forget it. Now, step 3 is our secret to speed. We call these windfall accelerators. Look, every time you get a tax refund check, a little work bonus, some birthday money from your aunt, or even cash from selling old stuff online, bam, that money goes straight into this new separate account. In fact, this is actually how most people hit their $1,000 goal the fastest. They aren't just relying on that slow and steady weekly habit. They're stacking these irregular chunks of income and unexpected windfalls right on top of it to speedrun the whole process. Section 4. Protect your cash. True emergencies only. Now pay attention here, because once you actually hit that beautiful $1,000 milestone, you have got to defend it. You need to set some crystal clear boundaries. What's a true emergency? Things like a sudden car repair, an unexpected medical bill, or losing a job. What is absolutely positively not an emergency? A massive holiday sale, a weekend vacation, or a so-called good deal that randomly pops up in your inbox on a Tuesday. If you unlock this stash and raid it for something that isn't a genuine hair-on-fire emergency, you're literally just throwing yourself right back into that zero buffer trap. You've worked hard for this cash shield, so protect it fiercely.
Section 5. Breaking the debt cycle. Life with a buffer.
Let's circle back to that nightmare mechanic scenario from the very beginning, okay? But this time, imagine you've got your cash shield ready to go. If you pay that $612 repair bill with a credit card, you're getting charged interest, debt is instantly created, and that toxic cycle continues. It's a stressful, panic-inducing red zone. But what if you pay it straight from your new emergency fund? Boom, no interest, zero debt. You simply pay the mechanic in cash, your account balance drops a little bit, and you just rebuild it safely over the next few months. Guys, that is the entire difference between having $1,000 in a separate account and having $1,000 of crushing credit card debt. The mathematical and honestly the emotional peace of mind is just incredible. And you know what? Once you've done this, the entire game changes. You've officially hit your $1,000, your baseline safety buffer is completely secured, and now you can finally start targeting that huge standard advice of 3 to 6 months of expenses. But the absolute magic here is that you're building toward that bigger goal from a solid position of safety, rather than operating out of total panic. The absolute hardest part, saving that very first $1,000, is already behind you. You've totally got this.
So now I want to hear from you. What is the craziest emergency that hit you completely without warning? Drop a comment below. Let's actively normalize talking about these financial surprises and completely remove the shame from this whole conversation. If this explainer helped you find a clear path forward, definitely be sure to subscribe. We release a brand new explainer every single week to help you take control of your money. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.